Hello everyone! There's been a lot of data mining going on lately, and some massive spoilers have been revealed. Now, a lot of you have asked me if I could make a video about this, speculate a little bit, talk a little bit about it. But before we begin, I need to do a bit of an introduction. First of all, like I said, massive spoilers are coming. I was unable to avoid them, it comes with the job, people tweeted me, people messaged me, but you might have an easier time with it, easier time to avoid these spoilers. And I can honestly say that this is something you'll want to save for when the game is actually released. So if you don't want any spoilers, then by all means, thank you very much for watching so far. Please turn off the video right now. Besides that, this is all data mined information. I've seen a few comments in the direction of Alpha has confirmed this, so this is going to happen. I want to be sure that you know that all of this is just speculation. It won't be certain until we see it for ourselves in the game, and even then, there's always the possibility of plot twists, of changes, all that good stuff. So with that in mind, and with the long introduction out of the way, here are a few of the bits of the datamine information that stood out for me. I'm not going to cover each and every bit, because it's a lot of information, but this is what stood out for me. Let's start it off with a bang, with a description of a questline which says: the might of Azeroth has fallen. King Varian Rin of Stormwind is dead. War Chief Vol'jin of Orgrimmar is missing in action. Any remaining heroes willing and able to defend our world should report to the Violet Citadel in Dalaran and speak to Archmage Khadgar and the Council of Six immediately. Sylvanas Windrunner is described as War Chief Sylvanas, while Anduin Rin is now king. They did say that we're going to wake up to a world burning and that there were some massive things that were going to happen. Now, the way that I envision this going down is we'll storm the beach, we'll storm the Broken Shores, we'll see that cinematic from the teaser, Gul'dan is going to unleash his spell, and then we'll probably roll into these changes with the world burning, Varian apparently dead, War Chief Sylvanas, and Anduin as a king. Now, Anduin is king again, and this is not the first time either. Back in Classic, his father was missing and he had to hold down the fort while people were advising him, people like Bolvar and Lady Katrana Prestor. He's always been about peace, right? I think most of us remember him asking the Celestials to open up the gates for both the Alliance and the Horde, and this led into Garrosh blowing up the Veil. Now, the description on the website says that Anduin is wise beyond his years. Time and again, he has used diplomacy to end conflict, inspiring even his father to lay down arms in pursuit of peace. Now, calling him wise beyond his years, I think that's up for debate. He has had his moments where he had showed reason in times of conflict, but sometimes he was just so out of touch with the real world, preaching about peace where it clearly had no place. That said, Legion is setting him up for some awesome character development, since the next bit says: but diplomacy has its limits, and some villains can't be reasoned with. As the Burning Legion threatens to annihilate Azeroth, Anduin will learn the true cost of peace, and whether he's willing to pay it. My hope is that he's going to wake up and realize, like his father in the cinematic, that peace is a very noble cause, but sometimes you just have to stand up and fight for what you believe in. The next bit, Sylvanas as War Chief and Vol'jin is missing. I've read and heard a lot of different opinions about this. Some are rejoicing with Sylvanas as War Chief, some are like, what the F just happened? Some are actually planning to join the Alliance now. I personally think that it's an interesting choice, but at the same time, we have so little information, it's very hard to actually form an opinion about this. Now, Vol'jin has only recently become the War Chief, right? And I remember that they said something along the lines of, yeah, we'd love to switch up the War Chief every year or so, give the position to a new person, but I didn't think that they were actually serious about this, and only time will tell if Sylvanas is going to stay in the role of War Chief, or if Vol'jin is going to make a return and it's going to change again. Vol'jin is only missing after all. We don't know where he is or what happened. Some speculate that he's going to be part of some sort of troll raid, that he tried to bring the troll clans together. One Sumdi in the novel Shadows of the Horde did warn him that the victory earned would grind him into dust. But I personally hope that they're not removing Vol'jin as War Chief just yet. He hasn't really had a chance to shine during Warlords of Draenor, and they set him up for so much potential. Just to knock that down again, I think that would be a waste. Now, Sylvanas as War Chief, how is that going to play out? There's nobody telling her what to do anymore. There's nobody keeping her in check. And it seems like she's taking advantage of this, since she is using the plague again. The question is, however, is Sylvanas taking advantage of the situation, as in Vol'jin is missing, so I'm taking charge? Or is the role of War Chief just thrust upon her, and she's doing it because there's nobody else capable of doing it? From her short story, we learned that her motivation is all about staying alive. Her Forsaken turned from arrows in a quiver into a bulwark against the infinite. it. Yet the Legion description on the website, it says, as her fate edges closer to the abyss, Sylvanas must decide how far she'll go to protect her people, and whether they're more precious to her than her soul. I read this at the time and I assumed that by people they meant the Forsaken, but what if they're talking about all of the hordes? Then there's the whole bit where Sylvanas and Greymane apparently will go at each other. There's boarding the Skyfire, Nafanel's Blightcaller is going to join it, he's going to be defeated. It's very hard to say how this is all going to go down, what motives and direction they're going to take. Is she acting out of her established motives, as in, I just want to stay alive no matter the price, or is she going to take a more noble path? We have Helheim, where the souls of the damned turn up and will escort precious cargo. We have Halls of Valor, where the greatest warriors are going to show up. The afterlife is definitely going to play a part in Legion, and I wonder where Sylvanas will go. So those are the major spoilers that have been revealed, and like I said, nothing is set in stone, and I'm sure that we all have our own theories and speculation. I'm sure that plenty of you will leave them down below in the comments, and by all means, please do so. I love reading that speculation. Now, I'm not going to cover each and every little bit that's been datamined, there's just too much information, but these things did stood out for me. First of all, Bolvar 4 Dragon, aka the Lich King, aka Lava Man, he's going to play a role, and they already said that he was going to make a cameo. Now, I personally think that he's only going to be used for the Death Knight artifact questline, as in you're gonna get the blessing of the Lich King, but who knows, he might play a bigger part. Still pretty damn exciting though, to go and get the blessing of the Lich King. I was wondering like what artifacts do I want to level up, what questlines do I want to do. This one is definitely up there. Corrupted Ysera. It seems like the Emerald Nightmare will not only take Malfurion and Cenarius, even the dragon aspect Ysera will fall under its corruption. Like Cenarius, I really hope that this is going to be a smack some sense into your scenario instead of outright killing her, but time will tell. Another interesting bit about all of this is that the Nightmare Dragons, the same Nightmare Dragons from Classic, they'll also find a way back into the Nightmare, back into these encounters. Emerus, Levon and Terrar, I think these guys in total have been taken care of twice now, both in-game and in the novel Stormrage, if memory serves, but apparently it's very, very difficult to get rid of things connected to the Emerald Dream. Even Ysandra is mentioned, which is interesting because during the Cataclysm, she got a whole new questline, she was all worried about being taken by the Nightmare again, she was not willing to rejoin her flight, so I wonder if we'll actually get an explanation as to why these dragons are back into the Nightmare, or if they're just dumped in with no real reason. Within Violet Hold, we'll find out that Millhouse Manastorm, he actually has a wife called Maleficent Manastorm. An engineering genius of unimaginable prowess, Maleficent Manastorm seems to be the complete opposite of her husband Millhouse. Smart and resourceful, she is a force to be reckoned with. I guess crazy, just runs in the family. Now next to her, we'll also see Festerface, which is another creation of Professor Putricide, and Blood Princess Felana. She's the daughter of the Vampire Queen Lanafel, which we took out in Icecrown Citadel. Blackrook Hold has some of the Ravencrest family show up. First of all, there is Kurtalas Ravencrest, Lord of Blackrook Hold, and I'm sure that I'm butchering names here. Whatever, he was the commander of the Kelderai resistance during the War of the Ancients, until he was assassinated by Varofen under the orders of Queen Azora. Millennia later, Gul'dan's foul soul magic has awoken Ravencrest souls and those of his ancestors from their eternal repose. The Legion, seeking revenge, gleefully forced his soul into his body and mesmerized him, forcing him to eternally relive the horrors of the War of the Ancients. Now I hope that they still have a chance to update the Dungeon Journal, that this is not the final version, because it was not Varofen himself that killed Ravencrest, it was actually an assassin sent by Varofen, which in turn was then taken out by Broxigar. Then there is Ilisana Ravencrest, the daughter of Lord Ravencrest, imprisoned for millennia in the Vault of the Wardens shortly after the War of the Ancients, found herself free after Maiev released the demon hunters from their prison. Returning to her ancestral home, she has sacrificed everything, including her very soul, to defend what she could not during the War of the Ancients. Now I wonder what Ilisana actually did for her to get imprisoned within the Vault of the Wardens. Maybe she's like a demon hunter or something like that. And even more interesting, Maiev is the one that releases the demon hunters from their prison. Again, we don't know the details, we don't know the context, but that seems to go against her entire character. She was the one who imprisoned the demon hunters to begin with. She lost her mind and was chased by her brother at the end of Wolfheart. I wonder what's going on here. Why would she, out of all of them, why would she be the one to release them? It goes completely against her established character. On the other hand, this is described as the biggest Legion invasion of Azeroth ever. There could definitely be a reason, and even better, better, if Maiev realizes that demon hunters could be allies, that works in favor of shipping Illidan and Maiev, and I'm all for shipping these two, so I'm very happy about that. Now, besides these storylines, there are also a couple of interesting names that popped up. I don't really have a story to tell behind them, but these are some of the interesting names. We have Image of Aegwynn, and Aegwynn is Medivh's mother. Vision of Medivh, who is Aegwynn's son, and he's the guardian that tried to save the world during Warcraft 3. Broxigar, will this Orcish legend return, or is it a Caverns of Time situation? Who knows? General Turalyon, you can't have Valyria return without Turalyon. King Magni Bronzebeard already showed up on one of the slides for the Ashbringer. Again, question is, will he actually come back, or is this another Caverns of Time kind of thing? Anduin Lothar, champion that tried to defend Stormwind against the First Horde. He lost his life at the hands of Doomhammer during the battle at Blackrock Mountain, and you gotta wonder, what is he doing in Legion? I have no idea. Maybe this is another Caverns of Time situation where they're gonna reenact the Siege of Stormwind. Could be great tie-in into the movie, especially with the next character. Lane Rin, former King of Stormwind and Varian's father. He was assassinated by Garona half-Orcan. Now he's already part of a vision during the Yogg-Saron encounter, but perhaps they'll give him another role. Could it be that they were planning to tie it in with the Warcraft movie, with Lothar like I just mentioned? Could be an awesome thing. Kaelia Menethil, Arvis' sister. Her fate was never certain. We never knew if she was actually killed by Arvis and his troops, so perhaps she survived all of that and she's now making a return. Grom Hellscream, and those that played Warlords of Draenor, you know who Grom is. Now I've been told that he's linked to the Halls of Valor, so this could possibly be that his spirits went up to the Halls of Valor and that we're going to see him there, which means that this is our Gromush. They did say that the alternates, besides Gul'dan, they would stay in the alternate reality, so this is most likely the spirits of our Grom. The Dreadlord Balnazar makes a return, as well as Jeraxis from the Trial of the Crusader. The name Liandra Sunstrider popped up. She could be related to Kil'Thuz's Sunstrider. And for the Windrunner Bow, we're sent deeper into Legion territory, where we eventually try to locate Illyria, and we end up freeing Varisa. Rhaegar Earthfury is finally, I hope so at least, getting an in-game model as he helps you earn a victory in the Master of Storms questline. Khadgar is going to reveal some secrets of Karasen's past. Metal Fellstorm is going to battle with Khafre Natir and we're going to help. The Ghost of Forodin is being tortured by cultists. And then finally, Cordana Fellsong is going to be a boss in the Vault of the Wardens. If you don't remember Cordana, she was the one that escaped during the legendary questline in Warlords. And that's about all the interesting names that I could find. Like I said, this is all data mine information, it's all subject to change, and there's a lot more if you want to go through them. Now I want to end this video with a few interesting lore bits that popped up during an interview between Jesse Cox and Dave Kozak. I'll link the video in the description down below, since some interesting things were said. What stood out for me were 3 things. First of all, they actually planned to kill Archimonde during Warlords of Draenor, like finish him off. The whole idea was that on Mythic mode, you would kill him in the Twisted Nether, the one place where you can actually kill a demon like Archimonde. But unfortunately the game did a very poor job at telling the story. The cinematic, it cuts back to the Draenor, where the light dies out in his eyes, he sends Gul'dan back, so they couldn't tell the story properly. They're uncertain if they want to keep Archimonde dead, or if they want to bring him back to do it right. That's up for grabs, but I think the conclusion that we can draw is that they wanted him to be dead, and now we're uncertain if he's actually dead or not. You gotta wonder though, if you're a demon like Archimonde, why would you summon your enemies to the Twisted Nether? Why summon them to the one place where you can actually be killed? Were his powers that much greater in the Twisted Nether? Maybe, but still, that seems like a very poor tactic to me. Then there is information about the pillars of creation. I speculated in my video that we might see different pillars linked to all the different members of the Pantheon, but apparently we'll only have to collect 4 pillars in total. Finally, some interesting news about Raden, or Keeper Ra as they call him. Raden was a heroic only boss, if I remember correctly, during Mist of Pandaria. This Titan Keeper is actually responsible for the creation of the elemental planes. That's quite a lot of power for just a Titan Keeper. I always thought that it was the Titans that created it. And you gotta wonder, what does it actually say about Lei Shen, the Thunder King, and then Jaina's staff that absorbs some of the Thunder King's power? Interesting stuff. But like I said, if you want to check out the full interview as well as links to MMO Champion and Wowhead, all of that can be found down below in the description. Right everyone, I hope I spoiled you properly with all the information. Thank you everyone that sent me tweets and messages on Facebook sending me all this information. It saved me a whole bunch of time. And as always, if you have questions, you're more than welcome to send me a PM on Facebook and I'll get back to you whenever I can. As always, thank you very much for watching everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos. And until next time guys, see ya!